How's it going, guys? You're watching Dirt Bike Channel. I'm your host, Kyle Brotherson, and it is No Shave November, and it's also gear review time. Today we're doing the Apache 2400 helmet light. Should I not have mentioned that it was No Shave November, because by the time this video comes out, it won't be November? Some guys have headlights on their bikes, and that enables them to kind of extend the rides that they go on late into the evening, or even go on some night rides. Some guys don't have headlights. I've had headlights on some of my bikes, and on the current bikes that I have right now, I don't have headlights. And so how do you extend your ride into the nighttime, or how do you even basically have a little bit of an emergency preparedness item with you in your pack? That's where this light comes in. Originally, I didn't think this light was going to be bright enough to be able to ride at night. I thought there's no way that something mounted to your helmet this small and then going back into a battery pack, this is where this cable goes back into the battery pack that you would mount inside your backpack. I didn't think that this thing would be bright enough to be able to ride with. But I was mistaken. This thing is actually quite bright, as I'll show you in the video right here.
Sure. I never thought, and there's quite a few whoops here, I never thought that you could do a headlight like this on top of your head, because that's how this one mounts. It mounts to the top of the helmet. I didn't think you could have one that would be bright enough, but I'm eating crow here because this is definitely bright enough. There are 3 different brightness settings, which I shall demonstrate for you here. If I click the top of it, first you've got your one light, then you got 2, there's 3, and then you do it once more and it's a strobe. Now this tells you how dark it is out here. So as you can see, there is nothing that you can see. And then I'll turn on the headlight, and now, voila! And I feel like I've got enough light that I can actually go, you're not full speed, but I'm certainly not going, really slow. Now, caution though, if you're in an area like I am tonight, you could easily get lost. This thing, because there are so many trails that go everywhere, it would be very easy to lose your bearings and get lost because it's nighttime and hard to see. But as long as you know where you're going, this would be a fantastic option. And as I was talking to the guy that develops these, after picking it up, this just enables you to ride and extend those rides. I think the way that I would use this, pound through some whoops here. I think the way that I would use this is throw it in my backpack. That's what I'm going to be doing, is throwing it in a pack, just in case you do get caught in the dark. Obviously you could go on some night rides with this, but I would keep it in my pack just in case. And that way you've got some time to get back to camp or get back to the truck or whatever.
As you can see, the Apache 2400 light mounts on the top of your helmet. They've got this thing basically set up just like a GoPro, so it'll mount using any of your GoPro mounts that you might already have on your helmet. Now, I thought about mounting this on the side, but then I didn't have the right pivot point, so I decided to mount this one right on the top of the helmet here, just like this. In fact, I mounted this one on the top of the visor, so it would be as far forward as possible. And then your battery pack, I'll unplug this, your battery pack here goes into your backpack. And so basically what I did is I took and I put the helmet on. In fact, I'll do that for you now, if I can do this without strangling myself here. So light goes on like this, and then you plug it into your battery pack, and your battery pack would go inside your backpack or your hydration pack or whatever you've got. So this would be then over your back like this. I'll just put it kind of in the hoodie here. And that's how you run this light. And then basically you have 3 different settings. You've got a low, a medium, and a high. And that's where I ran the thing, just like this. And then if you hit the button one more time, it gives you the strobe effect, which I don't know why you'd want the strobe effect. Anyway, the idea here is it basically gives it, then you're able to look anywhere you want to look. You've got light, and this thing actually worked really quite well. I couldn't believe how well it worked. Talking to the guys that make this thing, the light is designed with the battery. It's designed to last for about 3, maybe 3.5 hours on the maximum brightness. One thing to note about this thing is it will not go dim. It will just kind of go at full power because it's an LED light. It'll go at full power until that power is exhausted, reaches a certain power level, and then boom, the light goes off and you are totally in the dark. So if you're going to use something like this, which I actually really recommend a product like this. In fact, I like this product a ton. If you're going to use this, you got to keep track of your time. You can't just go out on a ride and you don't and you know, not pay attention to how long you've been out, because you could be left completely in the dark. So that is something to note. This is brighter than some of the headlights that I've used on dirt bikes, and it's on your head, so it's pointing exactly where you want. Another cool thing about this is if you have to get off the bike, say you needed to make a fire or something, if you have to get off the bike, now you've got a portable light source, which if you had just a headlight on the bike, you wouldn't have. So maybe ideally, if you wanted to go for, do this for real and do some real night rides, maybe you'd want to have a headlight on your bike and then augment it with this. And that would probably be the best of both worlds. But for right now, I'm thinking that this is a pretty cool option. You charge up your battery pack, you throw it in your backpack, you take this, you put it on top of your helmet. They give you some other mounting options and things, but I didn't use those since it was dirt bike stuff. They give you a couple of GoPro mounts to go with it. And what more can you want? This thing is pretty cool. I'll put a link to where you can get this down in the video description. And if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments, but I think this is a pretty cool item. Hey guys, if you didn't already know, Patreon is the best way to support Dirt Bike Channel. We've got some really cool rewards over there, so click on the link up here that you see to become a patron. That'll take you directly to our site, and you can check everything out. You can donate as little as $1 per month, and it would really help us out. Thanks a ton, guys.